So why don't we look at now auditing use of the su and the sudo commands to gain root access. To begin with, let's gain root access using su. And when I go through into the directory /file/log, we'll see more of this directory later when we set up system logging and we look at our syslog daemon. But when we look at the directory in now var log, this is where we can expect to find many of our log files. When I run the ls command here, we can see the btemp file, which was looking at the bad logins, and we can see the wtemp file, which is listing then our good or successful login events. Within this directory, we have certain secure files, which we can see. They just begin with secure. Let me just show you this. If I go through ls and then we'll just look for secure star, we can see then that we've got the current secure log, so just secure. And then as we rotate the files, and again, we'll be looking at the log rotate mechanism as we go through, we've got various different log files with older data. And you can see when the file is rotated, it's rotated with a date extension. If I go through and let's say just less out the current secure file, we can then go through and see certain events such as the policy kit. But we can also start seeing here we've got some sudo and su events as well. If we want to go through and look for some of these events, and we can go through and grep, let's say for sudo, so let's look at our sudo events. And we could actually go through and even look at secure star. So we're looking at it from any of the secure files. One of the ideas of using sudo is the fact then when we go through and look at this information, then we can see the command that we actually run. Whereas if I go through and look for just the su events, they're still in the log file, but it doesn't show me which commands that we've run. So of course anything that I'm doing at the moment is not being logged. The su event to root will have been logged, but not the actual command. Whereas we can see, let's just take one example here from January the 3rd. Looking through this line, and it does then wrap onto the next line, we can see that we used sudo, so it's coming in there, but we used it then we can see from our home directory. We sudoed to the user root, and we ran this command. And again, we can see then the user who initiated the sudo command tux. So we can see that tux used sudo to then edit the sudoers file. So we can see that using the command sudo, we maintain this great audit trail of everything that has happened. But if we just use the command su, let's go through and look for this within our log file. So instead of looking for sudo, I'm actually going to look for su colon. We can see the sudo events are sudo colon, so this then should be great to isolate just the su from the su events. And we can see when the events take place and for which user they're taking place for. So we can kind of, as we go through, we can see a session opened for root by user tux and then the session closed for root. But the 40 minutes or so that was running, we cannot see what commands was actually run as root. So it's this lack of granularity about who is doing what. It is the real problem when we're looking at using su. So it's great in a simple scenario such as in our lab environment, but in an enterprise environment, not being able to audit who did what, who created this user, who deleted this file, then it becomes, if you like, unacceptable. Now for the moment we've been able to see then the var log secure file, looking for our su and sudo events. We're going to start now looking at how we can use awk from the command line and within scripts to better extract the data that we need to see.